Hey guys, I hope that you are getting off to a good week. It is the start of our week 2, and we will be focusing on the 7 lies of the enemy this week. So this will be a pretty heavy topic, but so crucial for us to deal with and get rid of some of these lies that we operate under, so that we can move forward and be as successful as possible. So I just wanted to do just this quick video and let you know kind of what we're going to talk about each day and get you started. And I would love to hear your feedback on which ones you struggle with the most. So let me just kind of read the topics for you, and then we'll go from there. So the first one that we're going to talk about is comparison. And this one is huge. You hear, comparison is the thief of joy, and it is so true. Just, if you are comparing your life to others, your journey to others, you may be on the same path as other people, but if you're comparing your success to theirs, everybody has a different journey, and there's a different purpose to the timing of our journeys. And so just remember that, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. But so that's the first one. The second one is failure is the end. And the devil loves to do this one. So he loves for you, when you fail, to get stuck. He doesn't want you to get back up. He doesn't want you to keep going. He doesn't want you to try again. He wants you to just lay down and give up. And we're not going to do that. No more. If that's been something that you have struggled with, we're going to get rid of that. We're going to move forward so that you can get back up every single time. Each day is a new day, right? And then we're going to talk about unforgiveness. And this one is key. There are so many things that we suffer through and suffer with because of unforgiveness. And it could be our inability to forgive somebody else, but it can also be our inability to forgive ourselves, and to just really hound ourselves. And that, we get into that negative self-talk that we talked about last week, where we just keep pushing it and going over and over and over again, and we can't let it go because we won't forgive ourselves for something that we've done, some type of failure. The fifth one is shame. This one can play into all sorts of these topics, so it's probably going to cover several of the different layers that we talk about. Sometimes you can be operating in shame and not realize that's what it is. You never really put that name to it, but that's what it is. And so we're gonna work on that too. And then unqualified. Man, this is a big one, especially if you are trying to start something new. If you are trying to bring others along with you, if you're trying to help others, if you feel the need or the desire, that you have a big goal on your heart, and you feel like, I know that this is what I need to do. I know that this is where I'm going to go, but who am I? Who am I to tell people what to do? Who am I to try to lead people? It could be any number of things. So we're going to talk about that, just that lie that we are unqualified for what we've been called to do. And then fear. Fear is huge, and it can come up in so many different ways. In fact, I was dealing with it today. It's not something that I think it's not something that's one and done. But it's something that once you realize it, kind of like we talked about last week with the downward spiral of the negative talk, if you can recognize it early and why am I not doing this? What's the hesitation? What's the block that I've got? It's fear. I'm scared I'm going to be rejected. I'm scared I'm going to be let down. I'm scared that somebody's going to hurt me. And if we let that fear take over, then what kind of life do we lead? Because we're letting fear lead us instead of passion, instead of belief, instead of faith. And we can really get stuck in a pretty dark place if we let fear rule us and make our decisions for us. And so we're going to talk about that one. Something that I want to talk about in this video before we even get started, because we've talked about hearing from the Holy Spirit, we've talked about praying and asking specific questions, and in all of the cases of these 7 lies, there are things that come up where we hear it in our head. It's that negative self-talk, or we're praying and we're asking about something. We're asking for help with something, and the answer that we're getting or the words that we're hearing are very condemning, and they basically lead us to shame, because but you've been there before. But you tried that so many times before. Why is this time going to be different? There's, you're trying to do something new. You've turned a new leaf. You're going to head a different direction. You know you've messed up in the past, but every time you try to take that step and move towards something positive, you hear in your head, remember what you did 10 years ago? Remember what you did 6 months ago? How can you think that you're going to be successful this time? That's condemnation. And that is the enemy stopping you from reaching your full potential. The difference when we hear from Jesus is that it's conviction. Conviction is very different. And so let's say let's use our challenge here. We're trying to get healthy. We're moving on towards, soon we'll be moving on. We'll be talking about food choices. And let's say that there's something going on at work. There's a party and we're making specific food choices. Let's say we're in week 5, I think is when we're going to do a sugar detox. And let's say we're in that week, okay? And we are doing our best. We're avoiding it. We haven't had anything with sugar in 3 days. And then there's this party at work, somebody's birthday, and they brought a birthday cake. And what we hear in our head is, well, you've messed up every other time. What's one more time? Well, you didn't, you can't do this. You're going to stare at that all day long. And there's no way that you can avoid eating that. That's the condemnation, okay? Let's say you decide, you know what? I'm going to go for it. And I'm going to eat that cupcake. The condemnation is going to say, see, I told you so. See, I knew you couldn't do this. You knew this was too much. But conviction, the Holy Spirit is going to speak to you in a much different way, in a much gentler way. And there won't be any shame involved. It will be, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Man, I can really feel that. I can tell. Because I've gone 3 days without sugar, and man, I feel like crap because I just ate that. No more. I'm going to finish this week out strong. And that's the Holy Spirit saying, stop, turn, go the other direction. There is, the right way, the different way. Just stop and go that way. It's okay. You stumbled. No biggie. Pick it up, move on. Don't trash your whole day for it or anything like that. So that's what the Holy Spirit is going to do, is say, hey, yeah, you probably shouldn't have done that. But let's just not do it again. Let's just stay away from it for the rest of this week. It's only 4 more days, right? So I wanted to point that out, because as we go through this, and as I walk you through some specific things this week, each day, I want you to be very aware of the voice that you're hearing and really tune into the conviction of the Holy Spirit and the words of the Holy Spirit, which are going to be gentle and soft and comforting in that, you know what, it's okay. Yeah, you messed up 10 years ago. You're forgiven. Move on. Don't think about it again. Don't make the same mistake, but don't think about it again. Instead of the voice that says, you're never going to do it right. You're always going to fail. You're always going to mess up. You might seem good now, but wait for that other shoe to drop kind of thing. That's the enemy. And I don't want you to pay attention to him. He doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve the time of your thoughts. And so that is my prayer for you throughout this week, that you're able to really discern and start hearing the voice of the Holy Spirit over the voice of the enemy, and turn those thoughts around as we go. Now, some of the exercises that we do this week may be kind of difficult, and they may take you to places you hadn't thought about in a long time. They may, especially when we get to the unforgiveness, people may come to mind that you haven't thought about in years, that either that you need to forgive, or it may be that you did something to them and you need to ask God for forgiveness for it. That is so crucial that you just push through, and every person that comes to mind, just go through the exercise of forgiveness, because that frees you so much. Unforgiveness holds us so incredibly captive. I mean, it is like a ball and chain, and every single person that we need to forgive that has ever offended us, and we haven't really truly forgiven and walked away from that and let it go and just given it over to God, every single one of those people is just another ball and chain. So you think of all the people, especially if you're somebody who seems to feel offended often, that might be kind of difficult, but I really want you to push through. And if we need to talk in person, do not hesitate to reach out to me. Message me. Let's schedule some time and let's talk through that, because that unforgiveness can cause illness, extra stress, pain in our bodies. It's amazing how much that affects our whole being when we are unable to let that person and that event go, and how much they keep us captive by what they did to us, and we allow them to hold that because we're not going to let it go. And you know what? One big thing, and we'll talk about this more when we get to forgiveness, but they don't have to know you forgave them. They don't have to ask for forgiveness. They play no role in you holding that unforgiveness. It is a not a contract, but it's just something between you and God, and really has not a whole lot to do with that other person. So just know, I just kind of wanted to preface that, because I don't want you to be surprised as some of these things come up this week. This is the tough week, and I don't mean tough in that you can't make it through. Okay, this is the tough week when we really work hard for freedom of our mind, and we see, as we work for that freedom of our mind, how much our body can let go of, and how muscles that have been tense for years loosen up, and pains that have been hanging on forever go away, because we've finally been able to forgive, and we've finally been able to get rid of the shame, and we've finally been able to get rid of the condemnation, and get rid of those bad beliefs that we've been agreeing with that were unqualified, and that because we've failed in the past, we'll never succeed. So I look forward to this week. This is something that really energizes me to see people go through these steps towards healing. And it's been amazing for me personally in my life to be able to do these exercises and go through this. And it just makes such a huge difference in your overall countenance. I mean, people will see a lightness about you that they haven't seen before, because you've been able to finally let go instead of holding those heavy burdens and all of that baggage that you've been carrying around everywhere. So I hope that you can be excited about what's to come. I don't want to scare you off. Please, please, please take the time to do each one of these things because it is so crucial. And I think you will be amazed at the results. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Don't hesitate, please. That's what I'm here for. And I would love to be able to help you through these things. Last thing, I'm going to read them off again, and I'll put them in the comments of this video just so you can reference that. But the 7 things we're going to talk about are comparison, failure is the end, unforgiveness, attacks on your self-worth, shame, unqualified, and fear. So comment below for a drawing. Yes, yes, you're going to win a prize. Yay! Somebody will. Comment below and I will do a drawing from all the comments, and let me know which are your like top 2. And if it's like all of them, then tell me it's all of them. All of us, I think, deal with all of these at different times, but some of us struggle with 1 or 2 a little bit more frequently than the others. They have a little bit more control over our lives. So let me know what those 2 are for you. And I look forward to drawing for another prize. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.